Hey y'all, Mythic Rare here. Thank you to all my A1 Day 1 subscribers, and for anybody new or just passing through, welcome. What today's video is a whip and chat, meaning I am going to work on my diamond painting, and y'all are welcome to craft right alongside me, or I can keep you company while you're doing chores, while you're working, driving, etc. Yeah, so this is by the artist Tierra Scados. It is Usagi City. It is a fan art of Sailor Moon, and this is from Jaded Gemboree. And if you are curious about any of the items that you see in the video or my start photo, links are in the description. I am a Amazon associate now, so if you want to get anything from me in the future, like the or not from me, but like through my link, like the storage container system, that link will give me a small commission. Anything that I do earn through Amazon, I am planning on putting back into the channel. Thank you kindly for anybody who decides to use my link. So now that the church announcements are out of the way, I would like to recap where we were last time. So the CT scan came back normal, and I was like kind of sort of having a rough time, and I was just seeing rainbows come up everywhere, like on the packaging for Nick's Notions, like up in the sky, just randomly scrolling through social media at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like I am just seeing rainbows everywhere. And then Diamond Art Club came out with the kit, It's Okay to Be Different. And I took that as a sign, like, we need to order this kit. And then Alex and I went to the Guthrie Renaissance Festival, where I got super burnt. And then shortly thereafter, I got a letter for jury duty, and then that kind of sort of leads us up to the next 2 weeks. Or the last 2 weeks for me, but for you, the next 2 weeks. So, in regards to BetterHelp and then the kit It's Okay to Be Different, I had planned on, discussing getting a ADHD evaluation, possibly an autism evaluation with my previous therapist in BetterHelp. And I don't know if maybe I asked something that I shouldn't have been asking, or or maybe it was just like life happening for my therapist. But like not even 2 days after I had broached the question, I was given an email that my next session with her was canceled. And I was just like, well, I'm kind of not surprised, because these last few times that I've tried to schedule something with her, it's been like rescheduled and stuff. I know that she is currently going through her own health challenges right now, so I basically said, well, I can't schedule anything at all for her during the month of May. And I need to take care of me, so I went looking for another therapist via BetterHelp, and I got matched with my current one, who is more specialized for like coping with ADHD and everything neurodivergent. She also is supposed to be good with processing trauma and stuff, and it's kind of a closer match to what I need in a therapist. So I just kind of figured, well, maybe it was just meant to be this way. So I'm like still in the process of getting to know my new therapist. I have like kind of sort of asked, oh, can you send me a thing for ADHD evaluation? And we just kind of, like in true ADHD fashion, we keep putting it off. At first I was going to go to my primary care physician, but then I'm kind of like, well, even though I am pretty good at conversating with people, otherwise I wouldn't have the job that I have. But just for this subject, I think that it is kind of awkward because I've only met with my doctor like 2 times, and that's because something was wrong. And I like urgently needed help. So it's like sinus infections, and I don't feel like we've really, established that type of relationship for me to just all of a sudden come out and say, hey, I think I have sneaking suspicions of ADHD. Can I please be evaluated? Like, I don't know. To me, like, that's just, in my mind, awkward. Considering that I am, like, so new of a patient, even though, like, they probably see it all the time. It's, yeah. Well, not all the time, but, like, they're a general practitioner. They should be used to seeing everything, anything under the sun, But I don't know. It could just be just me. I think that it is kind of awkward. But yeah, like for legal, I don't know if it's like for legal reasons, like with the whole thing about HIPAA, or I don't know, but there's just like some like odd thing where, or at least to me, I find it kind of odd because you're giving permission for BetterHelp to give you therapy. So I feel like they should be able to diagnose you, but I guess like this may just be one of those things where it is better off being done in person. I wish that I could get diagnosed via BetterHelp, but I don't know. This may just be one of those things. Yeah, and of course, I pick the 210 because it is is going to be the most prevalent thing on the canvas. But no, other than that, like in the whole upheaval to kind of my schedule and how I thought things were going to go for the month of April and May, like, I kept on seeing these things at work, like, oh, there's going to be schedule changes coming up for people's flights, da-da-da. For anybody who does not know, Boeing is going through it right now because of the door plugs for the 737 MAX 10. And because of that, they are having to reduce their deliveries to all airlines so that they can undergo better quality control. Now, while the 737 MAX 10 thing does not directly impact who I work for, the whole reduction in deliveries, like, across the board, all versions of Boeing aircraft, it, like, that does. Like, that actually hits us pretty good. And we're trying to make it work with our flight schedule, but TLDR, everybody hates schedule changes. Doesn't matter if you're neurotypical, doesn't matter if you're ADHD, doesn't matter if you are a baby in diapers and is like, what is travel? Everybody, all walks of life, we all hate having our schedule changed. So if y'all have had plans for summer vacation and you've received one of those calls, please be kind, because we do not like making those calls or sending those emails alerting you to the fact that your schedule had been changed by a wide margin. Because while it means, yeah, you might have to redo your hotel or, like, shift your times at Disney or whatever, and I totally get it. It is a pain in the tuchus to have to do all of that, rearrange all of that, but something that people do not really know about is that for those who work in the travel industry, it is a pain for us too, because we do not like being on the receiving end of being called every other 4-letter word in the book and then some by folks. Like, nobody deserves that. As much as you think that we do, we don't. We're just like everyday people. We legitimately went, and we really do hate having to make those changes, number one. Number two, fewer planes from Boeing means not only do we have to step away from business as usual in order to do our due diligence and be responsible, reach out to those affected and alert about the upcoming schedule change, But because we're having that added workload, it means overtime for us. And that takes a toll because some of us, like me, for example, working 2:45 p.m. to 1 11:15, that schedule is just a recipe for lonely days, even lonelier nights, and I hardly get to see my family and spend time with them save for the weekends. So for those who already have schedules like that is a huge toll on us mental health wise. And then that also means that for the channel, I might have to cram filming all in one day, or like all in 3 days for the whole entire month, because YouTube rewards off of consistency, and the times where I have not been able to be consistent because I either had accidentally scheduled something for the wrong time, or like who knows, my views had just tanked, and it's like, it's not fair, but it is what it is. Also, this may be your not so subtle hint to hit the thumbs up and ring my bell for all notifications. Also, I feel really, really out of practice because I haven't been able to really diamond paint until just now. I feel like I can, like, obviously place a lot better than this, but I feel like because I haven't really gotten the chance to diamond paint for almost a week to week and a half, I feel just like my skill for multi-placing is just non-existent right now. But yeah, like, guys, life is rough when there's schedule changes like that, fortunately. And like, hopefully we are through the worst of it, where we're not getting so much like mandatory, you must come in either 2 hours before, or however, you must stay however many hours after your shift in order to make this happen. Because while we're changing everybody's schedule, the rest of the operation doesn't stop. We're still like booking for new things. We're still helping folks out with their frequent flyer accounts. Like, all the other aspects of the business do not stop just because Boeing decided to have some mess ups with their airplanes. I mean, not to put it, lightly. Those are very life-threatening things, but I mean, I could say other words, but they wouldn't be nice, and I don't think that my employer would appreciate that. Anyways. So yeah, it's just like life has been rough having to tackle all of that. And then, like, on top of it all, I'm sorry, I'm like flipping through notes. On top of it all, Alex is starting to experience more car issues. So the brakes on the truck, they went out. And for a while, Alex has been driving the 2008 Ford Fusion. that his parents have, and they like keep it as a backup car because this thing has gone through this poor little car has gone through it, and it just refuses to give up, so they've like always kept it as a backup car. Well, one day when Alex was coming home, the Ford Focus felt like all floaty and like weird when he was braking, and he couldn't stop, and he almost rear-ended somebody. So he took it as a sign to start car shopping, which, considering all of the things that have recently happened with the vehicles, I definitely think that it is time that he does. So last Saturday, Alex basically had to speak for me because I was at work at the time. I couldn't just like leave phones because we were busy. He said, I want us as a family to go to CarMax, but do not expect anything to happen until 10 a.m. And his parents just heard, well, he said 10 a.m. at the very earliest. His parents just heard 10 a.m. and ran with it. And, like, he told me later, like, oh, we're going to go to CarMax, so we can look at things. I'm just like, okay. So it's about 8 o'clock or so. I wake up, I take a shower, and by the time I come out of the shower and I'm getting my coffee, it is 10 a.m. And then his parents are just like, oh, we're going to go to CarMax, and we're going to go get breakfast. Okay, bye. And they didn't even tell us, like, where they're going to eat and stuff. I didn't know how long they were going to take. Like, they just kind of left me and Alex and just, like, skedaddled. So I'm just like, oh, great. So, like, I had to look at which CarMax we were going to. I had to map it because I'm not entirely familiar with that part of town. I was just like in my slippers, so I had to go put on shoes, brush my teeth, at least put my hair up in a bun with a hair stick so it didn't look like all crazy. And then I head out the door like 20 minutes behind them. And because, like, they just ran with the time, 10 a.m., they didn't, like, fully listen to Alex and said, oh, 10 a.m. at the earliest. They just heard 10 a.m. Now I'm feeling some sort of way because it's like, well, great. I do not get ready fast enough. I am no longer in this habit of immediately putting clothes on 30 seconds after I roll out of bed because I've been working from home for 3 years. Like, going out is a very much planned thing. Like, I don't just randomly go out just to, like, go out of the house, because that's how you spend money. It's, yeah, like, I just, I felt like all kinds of negative about myself after that. But Alex is like, no, like, that is all of them. That is not you. let's just dip into McDonald's. We can probably still get breakfast in time, and then we'll eat in the car. We'll head on over there. So that's exactly what we did. And when we got to CarMax, they had pulled the 2023 Dodge Challenger up to the front, and that's the one that Alex's parents had called ahead for. It's the one that Alex has been eyeing. It's just like the perfect form factor for his body, like everything. He absolutely adores it. And it was gunmetal gray, super cool looking car. I gave them my driver's license and my insurance card. Alex handed over his driver's license and his insurance card, and we took it for a test drive because I am a plus size gal and I am short. That car is not conducive to me whatsoever. I had a heck of a time making adjustments for the seat and the steering wheel. I only drove it like just down the street 2 minutes, like into the Michael's parking lot, and I just and then Alex just like drove it back around the block and then, dropped it off. So we barely spent like 15 minutes in the car. Alex absolutely loved it. It handles corners and stuff like a dream. It just glides. The really painful part of it was the math was mathing, and the math basically said no. So when Alex had, like, they were plugging the numbers into the computer trying to calculate monthly payments and all that. Alex said, like, oh, like, if you just put me in, what kind of interest rate do I pull? And he does not have any credit history or anything yet. Keep in mind, he is approaching his mid-20s, so like it's kind of to be expected that you don't necessarily have a credit history yet. And he pulled a 21% interest rate, which is essentially the interest rate on one of my credit cards right now. And that is straight up what I said, is that's the interest rate on one of my credit cards. Alex's dad, Winston Payne, the CarMax dude who was helping us, also said ouch. So then Alex and his dad look at each other and they're just like, well, what happens to that interest rate if I co-sign? And that lowered it to 14%. And then they were looking at me and I'm just like, I'm not going to co-sign on that because I just got done paying on my car like not too long ago, and my score is so because I do have some debt and it's been kind of a while before I've cleared off anything big. So my credit score is going to be just kind of meh right now. Like, my numbers are not going to help him. So he had So he had gone and factored it in another way. I asked the CarMax guy, like, oh, what happens if I give him an advance on his birthday present, like an extra 1,000, and then with them co-signing, then they plug that in and they're just like, oh yeah, like even something as small as $1,000 is definitely going to change the trajectory a little bit, but the interest rate is still this, and then the monthly payments are still this, and then our target was to at least get the car payments down under 400, and like we must have sat there crunching the numbers for a good 35 to 40 minutes after. I mean, Alex tried. like he had tried, but every which way the math was not mathing. And he always thinks that sometimes I can be paranoid and stuff, but this was because I had told him, you know, stories about people getting their cars and things repossessed when the housing crash of 2008 happened and all of that. And now he's very much of that sentiment, like, okay, yeah, I need to get a bigger down payment, because if I stretch myself way too thin financially, like, I get it now. So it's, yeah, I am glad that he backed off, but it's like the cars are getting to be a pain point because Alex is, I don't know if you heard earlier with the noises from in the back, but I share a wall with a bathroom, and Alex's brother is here for leave from the military before he goes to Japan. So he has his truck here. Well, two of his trucks. The old beater that hardly runs anymore, which is another 2001 Ford Ranger, but it's blue. Or is it a two? I don't know. I think it's like one model year newer, so like 2002 Ford Ranger. And then Alex has the green one, which is a 2001. You know, like, and the GMC Canyon, which is his new truck. And then we've got my car. And then we have a Ford Explorer. We have a Ford Fusion. And we have a Comet that is currently getting more patina. And then we have a Saab that is sabotaged. And to top it all off, we have a Kia Sedona. So yeah, we are animal magnets and we are car magnets. But anyways, back to CarMax. We had placed the car on hold, but then later decided, you know, enough was enough, and we're just gonna go home. Or rather, Alex wanted to go to Walmart, but I saw the weather changing, and I'm just like, we should probably go home. And then he's like, you're probably right. Not even 15 minutes later, driving down the freeway, it is an absolute downpour. I can hardly see anything, and I'm just like, I have no business being on the freeway if I can hardly see anything. So we're gonna exit, and we're gonna take the side streets. Apparently, everybody else thought the same had the same idea because it was super crowded on the streets. So I'm just like, okay, fine. Like, I'll take some of the back roads then to get home. Like I will get us home eventually. And when I get home, because I knew like there was going to be a moderate chance, like we were basically in the bullseye for severe weather, I was just like, gotta make stuff that is quick and easy for food. And I had advised Alex to do the same. And then I just started diamond painting. Like, I just had taken out Psychedelic Rick, and I'm just like, let's make some progress on him at least. About an hour to an hour and a half into that, on my computer, I get that there was a tornado warning issued, and I'm watching Channel 5 KOCO, and they're talking about debris over by Sooner Road, and I'm just like, oh my god, that is like not too far from us. And the sirens start going off. And because I am a transplant from Phoenix and our monsoon storms barely hold a candle to what's in Oklahoma, I already had my emergency bag packed, ready to go. All I had to do was grab it. And then we had to scoop up the dog. We scooped up a few other essentials, and we all piled into the minivan, and we started heading towards Shawnee. So there was the storm following us. It's like a torrential downpour. We're trying to go as quickly and safely as we can, and there's traffic because people are wanting to do the exact same thing. Eventually, we do make it to Shawnee without incident, and we duck into a gas station, and we try to plan our next steps. Thankfully, by the time we got to Shawnee, the storm was not producing any more. Like, there weren't any more couplets rotating or anything like that. It was just going to be a really heavy thunderstorm. So we decided to drive right back on through it. And when we got home, everything was fine. Thank goodness. But it's like when you hear, like, there is this thing coming. Oh, by the way, we see debris. It's kind of like, Christ, is this gonna be May 3rd, 1999? But thankfully, no, it was not. And because of all the adrenaline and anxiety and all the things, Alex and I wound up just like chilling out together while he was playing some games, and then afterwards I went back to my room, diamond painted some more, and I stayed up until like those storms were clear on past the OKC metro, so like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. So then by the time I got my day started on Sunday, it was well into the afternoon, and we had to do this massive grocery haul because we were running out of things, and it had been a while. So we hit Sam's Club, we hit Walmart, we even hit Crest, our local grocer, and surprisingly, out of all three places, there were still some things that I had somehow managed to forget for Alex. So we had to go back to Walmart and get more things. And it hurt a lot because I must have spent $85 at minimum at each and every place except for that Walmart part 2. And it was kind of like, while we were unloading the groceries, Alex's mom, like, just kind of offhandedly said, oh yeah, because Ben is coming. And I'm just like, what? When? Because I knew, like, before he was gonna go to Japan, that he was going to spend some time here first. Like, that's kind of a given. You're going that far away from home for like 3.5, 4 years. You're gonna spend time with your family. But I didn't know that it was going to be for almost an entire month, and that it was going to be happening Wednesday of that week. And I only had like 72 hours, if that, of notification. So I was just like, when the hell am I going to make content? Because he's a gamer, and uploading to YouTube will take a lot of bandwidth, and he also likes to stay up late at night, so then it means I have to stay up even later, and I may have to either go back to waking up at the butt crack of dawn and uploading my videos then, and then taking a nap, and like, either that or I stay up until the sun comes up and then I go to bed. I don't know how I'm gonna make this work, guys. So if my videos are gonna be either sporadic or you just see some coloring content instead, it is what it is. We might just have some more diverse content on the channel as opposed to just all diamond painting. But yeah, like, it is what it is. And there goes my cover reminder, because of course. So yes, like, this entire week has been totally, completely topsy-turvy. And in addition to that, like, because I have 15 minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and get on into this as well. In addition to all of that, I had alluded to the fact earlier, I think, that I had gotten a thing in the mail for jury duty. Friday of last week, so like the 26th, I had called the number, wasn't really getting anything on their automated phone service, so I decided to go on the website and make an account, and I kind of figured it was going to say this because it said group 1 on my letter, but it said that you are to report at 8:30 a.m. on Monday, April 29, for jury duty. You need to go to this courthouse at this location, and da-da-da. And I am thinking, oh boy, if I get put on a case, I could potentially get out of phone calls for, like, who knows however long, if it's a really long, like, drawn out case. And I'm just like, you know what? They always pick me, but they, like, never put me on anything. I think that it might actually be kind of cool. if I were to get selected for something, they pulled for 7 cases, and they're just like, this case needs blah blah number of jurors, this other one needs da 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 number of jurors, like this thing for juvie needs this many jurors. Like, yeah, I was surprised about that. That juvenile detention, I guess depending on what they did, they need jurors. I never got picked for anything, and I was just like, ah. So, oh well, at least I do not have to worry about being summoned for 2 years. Supposedly, it is a random process. I absolutely refuse to believe that it is random because there was, because I'm always like getting picked no matter what, and I know it's like off of voter registration and driver's license, so I don't know if you're like registered to vote, if it automatically puts your name in the hat like twice, and so you're more likely to get picked. But it seems like every 2 years in Phoenix, I would always be getting picked. And then I don't know if it's like a state, like if it's a state law for Arizona, but while I was in school, I did not get picked for anything, like while I was in college, like community college, like the big state university. It didn't matter. I didn't get picked for anything. So that was a godsend at least. But, 6 months after graduating and I hadn't, like, re-enrolled as a student, they picked me right away. But it's always kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, you call the number, and because City of Phoenix is so massive and they need, like, so many jurors all the time, it's like you call your thing and then it's like, oh, you don't have to go. You're dismissed. Not the case for the city of Oklahoma, because I actually had to show up and it was absolute chaos trying to find parking and yeah. But some of the things that I can say is they had pulled so many of us that they filled up one courtroom, and then we had an overflow courtroom, and then you got asked like a series of questions, and depending on how you answer, you're disqualified. And you got to go home. Like, who's ever been convicted of a felon, who is over the age of 75, who is active duty military, whose jury duty took them away from children under the age of 12, things like that. So yeah, those are some of the things where it's like online. If you go to register early, you can let your state know that you have an exemption, and then you'll not, and then they'll just like, let you skip it and stuff like that. But, surprisingly, for state of Oklahoma, being a student does not exempt you from jury duty. Either that or in Arizona, while I was like in there, I must not have actually gotten picked that one time. Like, I don't know. But, yeah, it's really interesting how the system works, because I was looking this up online, like what is the rhyme and the reason behind why I'm always getting picked all the time. And my theory is that if you're registered to vote and you reside in that county, you've got your driver's license there, you're going to be in that hat twice, and you're more likely to get picked. And there must be like some sort of system where they keep track, like, oh, who shows up, who doesn't, and it must be like nationwide, something, I don't know. And as soon as people like just random people on the internet have said, like, oh, I can't go because I'm a small business owner and we're having to do this for the company right now, or like I can't find a babysitter for my kiddos, or like I have these health concerns and I cannot make it. These people just do not get called again for a really long time, sometimes never. And I'm just like, wow, do people all of a sudden get flagged as like not reliable and then they just like never get sent a notice again? It's like, why can't we? I guess because it's not technically considered a jury of your peers if you have the people going all the time who wanted to go versus the just like randos who's like, yeah, I'm just told to be here, otherwise, I could be in trouble with the law, so I'm here. Like, I don't know. I am just rambling, and my shift is gonna start relatively soon. I should probably get off and have some food before that starts. So yeah, if you made it all the way here, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. And come on back for some more diamond painting and or coloring content. I'll see y'all later. Bye!